right, so last episode in the series, okay? So we're going to be kind of covering everything. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about that happened with this being the end of the series for right now. Obviously, there is
Until
supposed to
the
be
next
another,
6 years.
right, there's supposed to be another book that's coming out. So we're going to go through our thoughts, things that we liked, kind of a little bit of connections that were made, and then thoughts about next book. So.
Yeah, again, I made a whole ass document because sometimes you just gotta write it out,
With
okay?
books this big and a series this big, yeah, you got to.
And with all the connections that we have, there's no way.
No.
It's from beginning to end, just like last time. Yeah, book three, let's jump in.
All right, let's get into it.
So, the first note that I put down was just me stating that it was nice to be back in the ACOTAR world for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the beginning of book three is us with Bryce and Nesta and Asriel, which
Mhm.
I am okay with because I'm an As girl, we all know that. Um, but also I feel like it gives a better look at
Mhm.
Nesta
Yes.
after A Court of Silver Flames, which I really liked. I didn't mind her in this book. I feel like she really has grown into her like
Agree.
warrior stage, and I
Agree.
mean, I liked it. Bryce was getting on my nerves, but
Yeah,
I
she pissed me
understand both
off.
sides.
I'm not even, no, the hardcover's hot take. She pissed me off. And I've seen like 50-50 sides of TikTok where people are
Yeah.
like, Rice didn't change. She's always been this way. And I feel like no. And I've said this before in another video. Aylin is toxic and everyone preaches and loves this girl. And
Yeah.
with all the connections we're making, I felt like this was Aylin all over again. Like we're just like doing all this stuff behind her back. It's just so extra. And then everyone's like, she's in a new world and has trauma from the Fae. Why is she supposed to trust them? Because why are they supposed to trust you?
Right. So I understand like everybody's like point of view
Yeah.
with it, but also like coming into it, Bryce doesn't know these people, and like we
Yeah.
know Rhysand and we know like Feyre and we know
Yeah.
Asriel and Cassian and Nesta and like Elaine and all of these people. So like we know that they're trustworthy people and Bryce doesn't. So I
Mhm.
understand where they're coming from. And like, yeah, it's a given that Bryce is, you know, probably not going to trust Rhys. But like also there was just no like trying, I
Yeah.
guess. Like there was no effort to
I think
like
what I
work
just
with these
hated
people.
was the automatic assumption of like her being like, oh, this male radiates power. He's just like her dad, so like
Yeah.
fuck him. I'm gonna do all this behind the back. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
absolutely not.
okay.
It's also really hard.
Um,
It's like people, say that like, oh, well, why would Reese trust her? And like, yeah, you're exactly right. Like he is
100%.
High Lord of the Night Court. Like he does have people to protect.
Yeah.
But also we know that Reese isn't like that.
Yeah.
We
So I
had
think like an
five full books
interesting
saying Reese isn't like that.
So I think an interesting take that, and we talked about this last time, where like I couldn't say anything, um, and like now I can. So when she brought her parents there, right?
Hmm.
And everyone, again, it's very much the people who are Nesta people and the people who are Resand people. And
Yeah.
I don't, again, we're not going to even get into the sides, but everyone was that like when her mom saw him and stood up for Nesta, like it just shows that someone else sees how horrible he is, like da 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 da, and that like his
He's
behavior was
not
like
even
unacceptable.
horrible.
Yeah.
Like,
And
did you
that like
read?
and that she had trauma from these males and it was like triggered from her. And I just was like, I feel like these people did not read the book properly and it was just like an automatic like, oh, I'm like a nested person. I hate Reese. So like da 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 da. So here's what I feel like people don't understand. Let's go into the ACOTAR world. What happened? Feyre died. Reese had to watch her. He did 50 years under the mountain full of sexual assault, trauma, all of the trauma of their friends dying, everything that happened under the mountain. And then Farah had to watch him die. Then they had a war. Then they had another war. Then they had Elaine getting kidnapped. Then they had the sisters and everything that happened with them, and then dealing with Nesta and this. And then they had a kid, and then he had to watch her die, and almost the kid die, and da 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 da. And now there's finally like peace. Now, obviously, with the way that the book's left off, like we know the queens are up to something. We know that there's something going
Right.
on. like what's
There
the
is
late
definitely it's
the bird
open for
lady and the late
interpretation.
guy.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that's still happening, but the main enemy and everything, like everything is like, okay, we can like go about our life and like stuff is gonna
Yeah,
happen,
yeah,
right? And
literally,
I feel
yeah.
like people forget this because now all of this has happened and some random girl pops up in Valaris, which is supposed to be warded. No one can get through this stuff. Like Amryn herself helped put the wards up,
Yeah.
right? And now, boom, this girl who speaks an old dead language pops
A
up
dead
and is
language from almost 20,000 years ago,
right, right,
mind
right,
you.
right. And then is with a sword that's like in their history, and then is talking about some when she tells them a little blip of the truth and is like, I'm trying to get to my mate. I don't know why I'm here. I tried to go to hell because the Asteri, and when she tries to explain it, she's pretty much like, yeah, like they're fucking horrible and they're trying to take my world apart and like they're our enemy and they kill worlds and eat worlds. And they could be looking for me.
Yeah, so
And
obviously
you
Reese is
expect him to
going,
just like be happy, go marry, like, oh, welcome to my fucking court?
no, literally, like you expect him not to be the High Lord
Right.
that he is and protect his people. We
Well,
have
and
five
we
full
know,
books of literally
right.
him showing that he will go to
Yeah.
any length to protect Valaris. And it's
And
just like, I don't,
he's a father now. So now imagine
yeah,
all this stuff going on. Imagine that one sentence, how much trauma that triggered for him.
yeah, literally.
So everyone's like, oh, his behavior was irrational. And like, here's the thing is that when he got at Nesta, right, and was like, this is my court, like, you don't have any right to like have handed that over, like, da 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 da. Da. When Ember checked him, he even took a breath and was like, you're right, I'm sorry. Because everyone is allowed to have their emotions get the best of them in a moment, and he apologized for it. But, and I'm gonna say it, but when Nesta's emotions get the best of her and she does this, ain't no one on that side have a problem with
Yeah.
it. But the second that a man speaks up,
No, literally.
like
They
I can't.
just they only focus on
Mm,
that part and
right,
don't look at everything as a whole. And I'm like, are you
right.
reading the books? Are
Like,
you reading the
did we
same
not
books
look
that
at
we're
the part
reading?
where
Like, do
him
we
and
not have
Randall,
reading comprehension?
like,
Like,
literally, what about the part when Randall and him were making jokes and were like friends?
yeah, literally. Like,
But he's a horrible guy.
I just I the whole ACOTAR argument
Yeah,
between Nesta and Reese just does not make sense in my brain.
yeah,
Two things can be true at the same time. Reese
100%,
was traumatized, and so was Nesta.
100%.
I mean, like it just
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me.
no.
I
And I
We
will
can't
say that
even
like
talk about it because we're just like, what the fuck?
no. And I feel like when I like pop up on the sides of TikTok, it definitely makes me kind of frustrated because I'm like, I just feel like we're carrying things over. Like this is a completely new series, and I was so excited to like have this like crossover. And then there's like all of this like, oh, um, her mom is seeing him for what he really is, and like y'all are out here like no 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 no. And I'm just like, all right, guys, like I like can we focus on the story?
Yeah, like ACOTAR was released when?
Like years ago, bro.
Years ago. It has been years. And I understand being like a super fan of a book series. Like I'm a super fan of
Yeah.
Fourth Wing. I am a super fan of ACOTAR. But like,
Like come on,
girl,
come on.
come on.
I will say
It
that I
ain't
do
that,
agree
it's
with
not that
you.
fucking deep.
I will say I agree with you that it was very nice to see Nesta in like a
A
definitely
different
taking more of
setting.
that warrior role. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she seems a little bit more level-headed. Now, obviously, her and Reese are never going to be best friends because
No.
he will never forgive her for the things that she did to Farah. And I feel like
No.
that's what people, it isn't really this like hatred thing. She claimed him as her High Lord. She literally said, we can take you to my High Lord.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't, I feel like Nesta and Reese's
it's a love-hate.
relationship, it's complicated. It's definitely love hate, but like Reese knows and trusts her that
Yes.
she won't do his court wrong.
Right. And
So
he's
like
allowed
obviously
to
Reese
have a
doesn't
freak out
hate her.
moment. Right.
What?
No, he doesn't hate her and he
No.
and he's allowed to have a freak out moment because I'm not gonna lie, his crash out was valid. Because what do you mean you went behind my back and handed some random girl who has not been telling us the truth a weapon of great power?
Yeah, so
So
we could talk about that all day. It the ACOTAR argument just goes on and on and on and on. It's so stupid and I just I can't even. We avoid
I
talking about it
I will
because of
say
this reason.
I
So,
will say something that I think I liked in this was the fact that we did get Nesta's point of view of when they were going against the worm. I don't
I did
remember.
I did like to see that.
So
See that.
when she was like pretty much being like, oh shit, like I'm a warrior and I barely am killing this thing right now between three of us, and my sister did this as a human.
Yeah.
Like
That
it was
was
definitely like one of those like quick found respects again,
yeah. Yeah,
which
for
I
sure.
like because a lot of people tried to, and a lot of people still do, and we've talked about this before. A lot of people tried to literally be like, oh, comparing Nesta to Farah, like Farah
Yeah,
is weaker because she's
downplaying
a
like the
mother and like
situation.
everything like
Yeah.
that. So it was nice, and I also think it was nice too that she's taken up the aunt role, where when the mention of like even her own mate isn't what calmed her down. Her nephew was. And I
Yeah.
think I love
Yeah.
that because I think that that really does show that I think the bond between Reese and Farah and
Yeah.
her is being healed and brought
Yeah.
by Nyx.
I hope to see more of that, like backstory-ish in
Yeah.
ACOTAR 6. I really hope that we
I
get that.
have, when we go over
It
like
doesn't make
predictions, I'll tell
sense.
my prediction for that.
Okay, it just to me it doesn't make sense to go from a Court of Silver Flames to like them being best buddies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the ending, like yeah, they were on good terms and like they rekindled, they healed
Hmm.
whatever, but like you're not gonna be best buddies. Nesta
Yeah.
did save her, whatever, but like still, that
Yeah.
doesn't negate everything that happened. Anyways, I yield. My next note, we talked about this in previous videos. I think Az has more familial history than we know
Hmm.
as of right now. One, how did he end up with Truth Teller?
Yep.
Why were the Blades bothering him when Starborn are the only ones they attract to? So
Yep.
like there has to be some history there. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying that he's like Starborn, but maybe like the creator of
There's
him
some,
of
right, right,
theirs
right.
is like an ancestor, whatever. Um, I definitely think we're gonna find out in ACOTAR 6. If ACOTAR 6 is not Asriel's book, I'm going to be so fucking pissed.
We're going to talk
That's
about
just
predictions. Continue.
I know. Um, but like it just doesn't make sense. I know this technically isn't Crescent City, but like we do see a bunch of interactions with Bryce and Asriel, and the Blades were bothering both of them. And like
Hmm.
we've never seen Asriel so like fidgety. You know,
Yeah.
he's always like in the corner and like a
Yeah.
stealthy dude, and like you can't
Okay,
see
so
him.
like, do you want to hear like what like the 50-50 sides of TikTok are?
Yeah. Well, I think I
That
know.
okay, so remember what I talked about that in the last episode, which again I couldn't say anything. Actually, I think it was the first episode. I don't remember, but that everyone has this like prediction that because of Hunt's like true name and the story behind his name, that he is going to die, and Bryce is going to be the one
Yeah,
to
you
kill
told me
him,
about
something
this.
along those
Yeah.
lines. Because everyone thinks that Hunt is her chosen mate, but that Azriel is her real mate. Because everyone's like in the argument between Gwen and Elaine with the shadows with him, they don't like do anything, but then like Bryce sensed where Az was multiple times by talking about his shadows and that his shadows were like
Yeah.
constantly drawn to her and like how comfortable he was with her and like the singing and like everything. So
Yeah.
there's like a big thing that everyone's like, oh my God, like, is it that they're like cross galaxy mates, but that she chose Hunt? So like, yeah, so that's like a big thing. And here's the
Okay.
thing. I believe, and I could be 100% wrong, but I am like 85% confident that Sarah has confirmed that they are mates. Like not as
Hunt and
Hunt,
Bryce.
Hunt and Bryce are mates. So I don't know what that like necessarily means or like or it could just be the
No.
connection of like Starborn and everything like that, but
Yeah.
I don't think that she would do cross galaxy,
No, that it makes it
but
too complicated because it's not even cross galaxy at that point. It's
yeah.
crossing series,
Yeah.
which is
But
entirely two
I
different
will
time lines.
say that the points behind it do make sense.
Oh yeah, 100%. They make sense. I even just from me saying that point
Well,
alone, why are the
and
blades bothering him and her
well,
shadows? Like
and
that makes
her
sense.
her power when she got charged up and it was nothing like what Hunt's was like. So my take on this is that Hunt is her mate, which is why their powers go so hand in hand. But I
Yeah.
think as is history is the reason why he could charge her up, and also why it felt different. Because I don't know, we've had this conversation before. I believe he has a connection to hell
Yeah, we've
and
talked
the
about that.
princess,
I
and
I
for the
interpret it
Asteria itself.
I interpret it his magic as just being a different like brand of magic because he's an undiluted fae.
Hmm.
So like it feels different because it's not one lightning
Yeah.
and two because as isn't diluted. Like you know what I
So a
mean?
lot of people
I
like I'd have to
understand the
like quote,
point, but
I'd have
like
to pull
that's
out
what
like
I
quote,
took it as.
but it does make sense.
Oh yeah,
But I'm
100%.
but I'm choosing not to believe it.
I honestly I don't think that Sarah would do that just
No.
because if she was going to kill off a main character like that, a big part of a main character, she would have
Yeah.
done it with Reese, and I don't think that
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think if anybody's going to die, it's going to be a side character. And I
I
mean,
agree.
all everybody in Crescent City dies. So,
Yeah. But we're gonna have a talk because I have crazy theories you're not gonna like, but continue.
um yeah, so I just think that he has more like a family line of history. I really hope that
Mm.
we find out in ACOTAR 6. I'm like itching for his book, like itching for it. I
Yeah.
feel like a goddamn
Well,
fat
it's
kid.
it's not his book. It's Elaine's book.
Okay, but it's his book. And I swear to
Okay. We're not giving our point of views yet. That's at the end. Continue.
okay. All right. My next one says when Bryce, Az, and Nesta were in the cave watching the message that Celine left her, Az makes a comment saying she looks like Rhys-Ann's sister, proving
Yes.
more that Rhys, Rune, and maybe Bryce
Yeah.
are in the same family line.
Which
So
I
like,
believe is further backing up my point of like, remember when we talked about that maybe his sister went through the the Starlight pool
yeah, in Spring Court, yeah.
in Springport, and because obviously we don't know the timeline
Ooh.
in the sense of that, like, is she the villain in Throne of Glass, or is she now Celine and them like in Crescent City? But either way, she lived, and I think it was through the Starlight Pool. It's just a matter of which world did she
Yeah.
go to because they're all connected either way.
Yeah, it's just a matter of where she fits on the
Because
family
here's
line
the thing
because like
though, is
Celine
that
could be like a grandma or it could be like his mom
right,
or like
right.
his great grandma or whatever.
Well,
It's
because
just
here's the
a
thing, what we
matter of
talked
where.
about the, I always say it wrong, Valg
Valg.
in, yeah, in Throne of Glass. If they are the Asteri like we think they are, it would make sense how Rune and him could be connected, because if the Asteri go world to world, like worlds, you know what I'm saying? Then that would make sense how the bloodline was able to continue compared
Hmm.
to if she was just a regular Fae.
Yeah, I definitely believe that I'm 100% backing the theory that the Valg is the Asteria and that's where they
Yeah.
started and they just don't remember. And then
Or
they
well,
go
tech,
to
or
ACOTAR
that
and then
they're
to
like
Crescent
the
City.
gods that she banished and all of that.
Yeah.
Like all of
Yeah.
that plays in.
Yeah, for sure. It's all definitely connected to each other. We just don't know how yet.
Yeah.
Um, oh, my next point is I def think the Asteria originated in Throne of Glass, then moved to the ancestors of ACOTAR, then moved on to
Yes.
Midgard, acting all under different names or just
Yeah.
forgetting what they were called. And then the next point is I think Selene may be Reese's mom and Helena may be Rune and Bryce's grandmother, something along those lines.
Something
It's
along
kind
those
of
lines.
just like where do you fit in the family tree?
Right.
Um, The next one is the theories about Hunt's lineage is finally solved, made by the two princes of hell. He broke free of the crown, which was finally good to see.
We called,
Yeah.
and I couldn't remember if he did that or not,
Yeah.
but yeah, I we called that.
Yeah, he definitely that was definitely nice to see because you hear about when you hear about like powers and stuff in
Yeah.
fantasy books, it's always like I can feel it in the back of my mind or in the bottom of my
Mm,
chest or in the bottom of my lungs. And
right.
it's like just a little minuscule thing and it's like I wonder if it's there, but he just doesn't realize it.
Right.
So, um I'm glad that's solved because I wasn't sure if we were gonna get that and you
Yeah.
didn't remember
Well, and
either
I'm glad
before.
too
So
because if like pretty much it just shows that like he can't be controlled again. And I do really
yeah.
like
Yeah, I definitely feel like he's finally free now
yeah.
and free like forever. Like
I,
there's no going
I agree.
back. Um that whole meeting of them and them telling him that was crazy. Like,
Crazy.
it just was like, oh, now we finally understand what you were talking about when you said, stop, you'll know in time or stop, you're
Right,
asking
right,
the
right.
wrong questions or whatever. So, yeah, so my next point, this, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and it says it's good to see Ethan as Prime. Not surprised to say Sabine killed her dad, but glad to see her gone finally.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I knew when Ethan kept talking about finding an alternative to Sabine that it was going to be him and like his obsession with
Mm,
like the Fendir line and all of
yeah.
that he was going to end up being Prime. Also the fact that they have elemental magic. Love that. I love that in like
Yeah.
what is that called? Like not inclusiveness, but like
Yes, it,
inclusiveness, I
there
guess.
is.
I guess. Um, but I knew it was coming because I can pinpoint like certain things, and I'm just so like mind coded right now to
Mm,
fantasy authors that put Easter eggs in
mhm.
everything. So I'm just analyzingly deep these
So
lines. Shit.
that made me think of like the shapeshifters in ACOTAR and in Throne of Glass, which just even further is like lineage
Yeah.
showing between them. So I
Yeah.
thought that that was really cool.
Yeah, I just knew coming from like his obsession with like that wolf and Sigrid and the Fendir line and all of that that it was going to end up being him and his his guilt around
Yeah.
like killing her.
Yes.
Just I just knew that it was going to happen. It
Yeah.
was very easy to spot in my opinion, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. I feel like he's going to have some trouble in book 4
I
settling
agree.
into that role, especially with
I
Emil.
I thought it was
But
like a full circle moment.
yeah, for sure. It for sure was. It
Yeah.
definitely was. And Bryce waking up after being dead and being like, "Who died and killed made you Prime?" I was just like,
Bro, sometimes she's
it's
just so blunt. I can't.
she's so I can't. I think Ethan and Perry are gonna be mates
I agree.
because the way that like after everything had ended, like when he takes the serum, the antidote, and goes to the den and like gets everything
Hmm.
basically and like talks to them and then ends up going to the palace. He like makes a weird comment about her scent and then afterwards when he's at the den, he like
Yeah.
does it again and like
Yes.
keeps making these comments about her scent and how it feels different than when they were younger and I don't know, most people would like chalk it up to
I-
it being the antidote and like his
Yeah.
senses being heightened,
Well,
but I know too much.
I took it as that too. And also I was wondering if like him becoming a prime, like kind of set that into effect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like he needs his like, what is it,
Yeah.
Omega? I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's the alpha.
Yeah,
No.
so he is Omega, right?
Yeah. Like his second in command, whatever that word is. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
really
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I
That.
do honestly want to read more like wolf shifting fantasies. I feel like it would be a good read.
I have one for us. It's called Dire
Okay.
Bound, which I've
Okay,
read.
perfect.
I've read book two is out or is no is coming out soon. So I
Okay,
have
I've heard
that
about
for
that one. I've heard good things about that one. So I have that one's on my T TBR. So
yeah.
I will be happy to read that. I think it would be fun to read. I feel like it's a different switch
It's
up than
different.
what we normally see.
It's different and
Obviously.
like giving Twilight.
Yeah, low key, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay with that. Um, I was definitely curious to see like how. Bryce and Hunt's power would be after they took the antidote and like
Yeah.
got the poison out of them just because they were already so powerful.
Hmm.
Um, and Bryce saying that Hunt caused like 3 days worth of thunderstorms after he took the antidote just because they were so strong. I definitely feel like they're gonna become like a king and queen type shit. I
Yeah.
know that she ruled and she was like a democracy, but there's no way that people are going to like let them have that much power and not have a
I
say.
I think it's gonna kind of be like, um, I don't remember who I was trying to reference right now. I just blanked, but it's gonna be one of those things where like there's going to be a committee and
Yeah,
they all
like
vote and have
it's
say,
like
but they are
courts,
the
the
ultimate.
courts. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Um,
when I read that, the only thing I could think of was Violet. And now, like, whenever they'd be like, getting it on and like the thunderstorms, and
oh
so I
yeah,
just, so like
literally.
all of it, yeah. So I don't know. It just made me think of that, where I just was like,
Sometimes
oh
I'd
my
be like seeing lightning and I'm like, oh, there's Violet in the real
no,
world.
literally,
I'm just like my brain.
literally,
Um, the fact that Rune, when he took the antidote and exploded with Starlight, I was like, oh,
yeah,
so you do have more of it. It was just suppressed.
yeah. I
So
think that he is never going to be at, like, I don't think he's going to be able to teleport like anything like that. Even with that, I don't think his powers are enough.
I I
But
think his shadows are going to get much stronger.
I think his power is going to be more similar to Reese. Like for example, like I think he's going to be able to do a little bit better of being, what is it called, a dementi? How do they say it? The special type where they can go in the mines and like do stuff and crap.
I know what you're talking about, and
I
Dementi
can't
sounds
remember the
right, but I
word, but
cannot confirm.
I cannot remember the word and how to say it, but you know what I'm talking about because Reese
Yeah.
and Feyre both have it because she has it from him, where he
Yeah.
can like go in mines and like help alter things. Like I think he's gonna go more into that.
Yeah, because right now, like with before the antidote, it was just mind speaking, and that's all it was
Yeah,
coded as, was just mind speaking. And now I
right.
definitely feel like it's going to be more towards Rhysand's power. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Still,
such like a
still
given
not
though.
even in close to comparison of power though.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. I'm glad that him and Lydia are fine
Yeah,
and like
finally.
finally
Bro,
accepted.
it has to be a
And
sibling thing because between him and Bryce, literally the first half of the book, I was like, all right, I'm kind of over you guys.
no, literally, like y'all are mates, get it over with, bang it out. Come on now.
Bang it out.
Like, bang it out, confirm
Yeah.
it, fucking float off into the stars, whatever it may be, get over it. I will say though, the plot twist about her having kids, I was
Yeah.
not expecting that.
No, I was not at all. When I read that the first time, I was like,
I know, I that was like a really big plot twist for me, or like
yeah.
I don't a plot twist. I don't know.
So a
Show
big
off, I
thing to
guess.
note here, another connection to Throne of Glass. Okay, one, her having fire.
Wait, pause. Is her dad what's his fucking nuts? The King of Avalon? Because he's a stag and that's like a whole thing.
I mean, it's not confirmed, but like, I don't
Well,
know.
no, it's not confirmed, but like,
Yeah.
could it be possibly?
So I think that okay. So one, the ring that she has
Yeah.
is is the damn near exact description, and I can't remember if it's of um Rowan's ring or Aelin's, but it's one of their wedding rings.
Yeah.
Fire is Aelin's power. The stag is connected to Aelin, and
Yeah.
her son is named after her cousin. And then like even like the looks and like the comparisons are literally like talking about him. So
Interesting.
I think okay, so because her cousin, Aylin's cousin, and Lysandra, her bestie boo, whatever, Lysandra was a shapeshifter. And he had, this connection to Aelin and the firepower and all, da, 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 da. I think that she's a descendant of their child because she's a stag like shifter or like deer
Yeah, she's
shifter
a
and
deer
whatever. So
shifter.
I think that she's one of their children because
That would
now
make sense.
Rowan changes into a bird, but it just doesn't make sense. Like maybe she could be connected to them because Aelin has the connection to the stag and everything like that. But I don't. I think it makes more sense for her to be connected through Lysandra and
Yeah.
his child. And so
Yeah.
yet another freaking connection to Throne of Glass. So I am solidifying my decision that I really do think that all the worlds are combined. And she keeps talking about how she wants to go back in the Throne of Glass and
There's
she wants to
definitely
do something.
there's definitely like well, I know she's writing a Throne of Glass novella, so maybe we'll find out there.
Yeah,
Um, I definitely think that like it goes Throne of Glass, ACOTAR,
I
Crescent
agree.
City in like writing. It's definitely writing order, obviously,
It's
because
definitely
Throne of Glass
writing
was her
order.
first. But universe order, like timeline, I feel like it's stacked. And all of the people in Crescent City are all ancestors of people from ACOTAR and Throne of Glass.
I agree,
I feel like that's how she's gonna do it.
but remember the Matrix theory?
Yes, I remember.
Okay, because it still makes sense.
Yes, it does, but it fries my brain, so I
So,
can't think about it.
all three of them, yes, but also all three at the same time.
Yeah. I
Because when Aelin is jumping through worlds, there's no
yeah.
way for ACOTAR to have been after because she literally saw Rhys and Feyre. So I think all three worlds are like interconnected like that. Like each decision of these main characters affects the other world, but they're all their own separate timeline, but all going on at the same time. Okay, continue. Next point.
I can't even try and
Nope,
comprehend
next
that right
point.
now. I can't. Back to the mates thing. I think Therian and Sathia are gonna be mates. They're gonna end up being mates. I'm
Yes,
calling it right now.
yes.
The fact that he like just stood up and was like, I'll marry her
Yeah,
and was like, um, I definitely think I just don't know how it's gonna work because at the end, Sathia does dip on them and it's basically like, I gotta go find my ex-boyfriend,
yeah,
from the Viper Queen. I can't leave him there. And
yeah.
she's like, she realizes that losing him was her ordeal, which I just don't know how it's gonna tie in because if she's going back for the ex-boyfriend, does he end up dying? Does he end up, you know what
Right.
I mean? I definitely think Therian and Sathya are mates. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
just it makes the most sense.
I
Authors
also
don't
think
do that shit for nothing.
I think it's his full circle moment too.
I 100% agree. He deserves a good ending.
I
Um,
agree.
so, another thing about mates, this made me tear up. It's when it said if Danica could not be here, it was only fitting that her mate stood here instead. Dude, I about cried. I about
Yeah,
cried.
no,
And
no.
and honestly, after reading Crescent City 3, Baxian is like the perfect person for Danica.
No, 100%. And
Even just in the small chapters that we had for her,
yeah.
he's like
Well,
the perfect
and you
person.
know what's crazy? This is such a hot take. Fuck a Throne of Glass novella. I want a novella of their relationship.
Dude, that would be fucking sick.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I understand that
I
they
want to see all the backstory stuff and how
like
they
this
met.
is such a hot take. Throne of Glass is finished. Throne of Glass is been completed. And if you're going to start new Throne of Glass stuff, it would be interconnected in a Crescent City and like tying the worlds in. So I
Yeah,
just do not feel the need to have a novella for that. You know what I need a
I don't.
novella for? I need a novella for those two and their meeting. And then also, and I feel like that would answer so
So many
many
questions.
questions. And I think it would be so amazing to see Danica's like Danica, because we talked about this, Danica like had two lives.
Yeah.
And it would be so nice to see one, her love for Bryce, because all we see is her betrayal.
Yeah, literally. I mean, the story, like the point of view from Bryce's point of view
Yeah,
and just reading the book as readers is definitely like, wow, Danica betrayed multiple people. And I
multiple
understand
people.
like wanting it to like doing it for the right reasons and stuff. But we know
It
for a
still doesn't
fact
make it
that
hurt any
Danica
less.
like, huh?
It still doesn't hurt any less. Like,
No, no, we know for a fact that Danica really loved Bryce and like cherished
right.
their friendship, but still, it obviously doesn't hurt any less. I would
There were just
love,
so many secrets at the same time.
yeah, I would love to see a novella between Baxian and Danica. That would be
Like
so great.
I would die for that.
Yeah.
And honestly, first war with Shahar and Hunt. and I know that it would be really hard to see, but I feel like honestly, personally, she should have done a novella of both of those before she even released this third one. Because imagine how much more connected you would be to these characters. And then the scene where Shahar, full circle moment that we're about, is literally the next point we're about to talk about. Imagine how much more that would have hit if we would have had the backstory of those relationships.
A full backstory, not just Hunt explaining it.
Exactly. Because we obviously we know he loved her, right? But she
Yeah.
used him. And so imagine how much this full circle moment like would have been if we would have had that backstory.
Yeah. There definitely could be more layers to it for sure.
Like I'm petitioning,
I would love to have a novella between Baxian and Danica.
right? Like,
Like, that
oh,
would be so sweet. I love
and like
Baxian.
and I'm
He's
talking
a
about
sweet
like
character.
I want the moment they meet. Like all the little stuff Danica was doing and her and honestly, I already know like in the novella it would have like little regrets of having to lie to Bryce and lie to the
Right,
pack and
yeah, yeah.
and then all of a sudden like their little inkling of like meeting and like doing all the like the bloodline and stuff like that. So I just think
Yeah,
that
and even just like what her line of thought would be with putting the horn in Bryce.
literally,
Because we don't know why did she do that? It does not
right.
tell us. And like obviously Danica knew she was Starborn. And like,
Right.
yeah, well, Starborn have to,
Well, she
use it
did
to
it to
open it.
protect it so that that way no one could like the Asteri could never use it, and we understand that. But how did
Like,
she come to like that's the decision
yeah,
she was
how
gonna
did she
make?
come to that point? You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
I don't even know.
So I'm saying right now, I think that those two novellas should have come out before this book. The third book like even came out.
I would agree. Especially because we find out in book two that Danica and
And
Bax
like, I'm
mates.
sorry, but like fuck the Throne of Glass one. I want this one more than I want a Throne of Glass one.
I I have not read Throne of Glass, so I cannot say anything on it, and this is a very hot take. I don't want to read it. I just
Yeah,
don't.
hot
I
take.
understand that, like,
It's a great story. It is a great personal growth. I love the characters and everything, and all that stuff. But it's third in the series for me. And that is
yeah.
an extreme hot take that people are going to hate. And I don't care.
But I mean, it's just like everybody has their reading preference, and I understand that, like, Aelin goes through this crazy character development, and the story
Yeah.
is very powerful and whatever. It's
It
just a
is. It
preference.
just didn't hit for
I
me.
personally don't have the energy to commit my time to a series that I know that I'm gonna have to push myself through. I just know that like I would have to push myself through Throne of Glass, which is not like a necessarily a bad thing. I just don't have the energy to commit myself to a
Yeah.
series like that right now, and I honestly don't want to at the
Yeah.
moment. I'm sure I will read it before ACOTAR and 6 comes out and before
Yeah.
Crescent City 4 comes out, but right now
Like I
I
said,
have no.
it's a great story and I do love the characters in it and the story and I don't regret reading it, but I'm not gonna lie, guys, I will never do a reread.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people make Throne of Glass their entire personality,
Agree.
and I understand being like obsessed with a book. I really do. I really do. I am
Agree.
one of those people, and I will always be one of those people,
Yeah.
but it's just everybody who thinks that Throne of Glass, like, or everybody who is obsessed with Throne of Glass, like, thinks that they're superior in a way. And
Yeah,
like, that's
I
a
have
hot
seen that a
take, but
lot.
like,
No, I've seen that a lot. All right, enough trashing it. Let's go to the next point.
um, the next point is me saying that I was fucking right about Jessica. Okay, I
I
called
had to
it
gaslight
last
you,
fucking
okay?
video. I called it and I knew
I
that
just had to
shit.
keep gaslighting you, okay? I
You know
couldn't let
what?
you guess everything.
Well, no. I don't expect you to tell me anything. I like guessing that shit on my own. I'm just happy that I guessed it fucking right.
Yeah,
I knew that she was a priestess. I'm
yeah.
surprised that Apollyon cursed her though.
Yeah,
But
that did catch me.
honestly, her trading her life for Bryce's very bittersweet moment. That was
Yes,
very sweet. Definitely
yeah.
proved that there was some more like deep feelings for Bryce
Yeah.
there than she let on. It's giving very like grandmother
She
vibes.
reminds me of Amryn
Yeah, a
a
little bit.
lot. And I
Yeah,
feel like that moment was like when Amryn gave up hers
yeah,
when she came back from the cauldron, and I just was like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was very bittersweet. Made me tear up a little
Yeah.
bit. Next point is Hunt's name being an ode to Apollyon killing Sirius was Chef's kiss.
Yep.
Your name was a nod to that, whispered into your mother's ear as you were born, Orion, Master of Sirius, which I personally have a love for the story of Orion and Orion's constellation, but that's
Yeah.
because it's tied to Phoenix, and that man is my husband. So,
Nice.
and yeah, I'm obsessed with my boyfriend, so that's why I will always be obsessed with him. My next point is Rune killing the Autumn King was spectacular, officially making Bryce Queen of the Fae. That was Chef's kiss, so full circle. Rune deserved that moment.
I was gonna say I'm glad that he was the one who did it.
Absolutely. He deserved that. He
Hmm.
deserved it. Also, the whole her thinking back to when like Rune's childhood when the Autumn King would put the shackles on Rune to mess with his hands and like having the extra key. That was really smart on her part.
Yeah.
That was a good like little detail that I
Yeah.
enjoyed. Um The next one is Hypaxia becoming head of house was such a good moment.
Deserved.
She deserves
Deserved.
some good in her life. It's definitely going to be messy for her for a minute. She definitely has a lot to take over, but
She has a lot of
I,
cleaning up to do.
yeah, I think it will be a really good role for her.
I agree.
I'm excited to see her. I really like her character.
I think
Um,
she's gonna have a bigger role in the next book.
I think so too. She's definitely popping up more. At
Yeah.
first, I thought that her and Ethan were going to be mates.
Hmm.
Because there was like that whole you have to guard her and you're going to spend a lot of time with her and all of that
Yeah.
jazz. And then the whole Celestia and Hypaxia thing
Yeah.
happened, which Celestia, she repaid her dues. I still don't like the fact that she sold them out, but she repaid
Yeah.
her dues.
She did.
So, um, yeah, and literally this part is just where the book goes downhill. Bryce almost dies. She gets sent into a black hole. She
Yep.
shoots the first light core,
A very
counteracts
typical
that
like
black.
last 50 pages of like any Sarah
Yeah,
book of just like
yeah,
everything going
literally.
to shit.
Yeah, literally. I did really like the fact that Hunt jumped in after her,
Yeah.
and like Adis was like, "If you need to go, go now. Like if you don't want to live without her, you need to go now."
Yeah.
And Shahar helping him. That was also very full circle. So like,
Very full circle. Which again goes back to like imagine if how much more that would have hit if we
yeah.
would have a backstory.
Yeah. Because I mean, we only really have Hunt's explanation to go on, and while
Right.
yes, that is good enough for us, it just
Just imagine how much more
hearing it
that scene would have like,
firsthand while it's happening just hits
yeah,
different sometimes. You know what I
agreed.
mean? So, I honestly I don't know where like where book four could possibly go. I don't know if the Asteri come back. She did send the first light core into that black hole with them.
Yeah.
So that could possibly come back into play. Obviously we have a couple of loose ends. We have Ethan with the Prime,
Yep.
Hypaxia getting her house in order,
Right.
um,
But
rebuilding the
that's not
government.
what book four is gonna be about. Like that's
No,
always
there's no way.
exactly. In Crescent City, there's always so many side things. So I do think all of those are gonna get solved in this one.
Oh yeah.
I truly think that this next book is going to be one of two things, and if not both at the same time. I think that ACOTAR book six is going to feed into that the Asteria are going to try to fully either go back to that world or this one, but either way, that's the only two places that have ever been able to send them away, and they're not going to take that lightly. So I
Yeah,
do think we're
no.
going to get like a pretty much like a series war.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard to say ACOTAR 6 is going to be like showcase a war because it's hard for me to
I don't
say
think it's I
that.
don't think it's going to showcase a war. Obviously it's going to follow Elaine's story, and there's the whole like finding out who her mate is and da 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 da. So I think that that's going to be a whole thing, but there's no way that the whole book is just that, or it would be a novella. It's
Yeah,
going to have
so
to
the
play into
only
the bird lady and the queens and everything,
yeah,
but imagine the full circle connect moment if it's going to be one of those things of like something along the lines of the Asteria.
yeah. I just it's hard for me to comprehend because like we've spent 5 books with Rhys and Feyre and
Yeah.
they are the leaders of the Night Court that we would experience a big like such a big conflict
Yeah.
in Elaine's story, if that makes sense. It doesn't clash well in my mind, and I
Yeah.
don't really know. I definitely think ACOTAR 6 is coming first before Crescent City. So I think it's
100%.
gonna go Throne of Glass novella, ACOTAR 6, Crescent City 4.
I agree.
So
That's
I don't know. I definitely I agree that we're gonna get like a crossover, but the loose ends are definitely gonna get tied up, but I agree that it's gonna be like side things like them finding out how the first light grid is gonna
mm,
last and like Rune
yes.
and Lydia and her sons, like those are all side things.
Right.
But with the Asteri now gone, essentially, we have no idea what threat could come
Right.
because you know that like
Which is why I don't think in one book she's going to introduce a new threat.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So
Yeah, I would agree.
I
I
th
definitely
that's
think
why
that the
I think
Asteri
that it's going to be the Asteri, and I think Elaine's book is going to obviously be a lot of Elaine, but I am thinking something along the lines of that like what if towards the end of the book it's something just like pretty much like they got to go find Bryce, or Bryce pops back in, or you know what I'm saying, something along those lines, because I also have a theory that the Dusk Court, and obviously like under the under mountain prison and all that stuff, like when we found out through all that stuff, like obviously this court and everything like that stems to Bryce's people and stuff. So like what if it's like their world is dying and like now they have to come, and like are they going to become Dusk Court?
yeah, I don't
Like I don't know
it
if like
could
the
be like it
war.
could like the threat could be like the first grid
Right,
goes down, but like people know how to
right.
survive without the first light grid and like
Yeah.
I don't know, just if the Asteri don't come back,
I just
what
don't
is going to
know.
be the
Right.
threat? Because you know you can't have she would never write a fantasy book, especially an uncompleted series fantasy
Yeah.
book of just little side shit that needs to
Yeah,
be
there's
cut
no way we're
out.
about to have like a 1,000-page book of just like little side quests.
Yeah.
I also just, unless there's going to be more than 4 books, I don't see her introducing a new villain. And I also feel
Mm-mm.
like that's doing too much.
Yeah. I don't even
So,
know what it would be. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It only makes sense for the Asteri to come back.
right.
So,
Or maybe not come back, but they go find them and are like, fuck this, we're killing them. Like, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
right. I don't even
Like,
know.
something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't or maybe it's like
So,
maybe it's like
another.
something, I don't know, came through the Northern Rift when they go back to see when she pops in back in an ACOTAR 6 or something.
Mhm.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so ready for my crazy thing? So, remember when I said that like I think that Aelin's fall is like what connected all of the worlds, right?
Hmm.
So obviously when she's falling through worlds, she sees Perinthian, she sees snow-capped mountains, a pregnant female, and a winged male with violet eyes. And he snaps his head towards her and like sends like that blast of power, which like pushes her through. It was intentional. We obviously know that that is Feyre and
Right.
Rhysand, right?
Yeah.
Which is also why she was pregnant. So it's
Yeah.
during the same timeline.
It's an obvious link to ACOTAR.
100%. So most readers think, oh, like Aelin just fell through Perinthian, like, ha ha ha, right? No, but like, I don't think that it's just showing um a glimpse. Like, I think this is like a physical interaction. He doesn't attack, he doesn't block, like he literally helped her. And so I think that this is the moment that the universes connect, and like one character is reactive like to the next. So we're going
Right,
back into
yeah.
like this matrix theory, right? Um, Okay, so her power is literally like they call it world breaking. It's so raw, and so like all of this stuff. I think
Right.
that her power is so raw, but I think that Reese's is so stabilizing because of how powerful he is. Um, And the cauldron, the world word, however you say it, words, WYRD, whatever, however they say
I
that.
say
And
words.
yeah, and the gate, those like are all like made things, right? Like
Yeah.
and like Asteri things, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that she just crossed all the worlds when she fell, though. I think she anchored them. Okay. So I think that this means that characters are going to cross worlds again for this next book. The magic systems are going to start bleeding through, which we already see in the bloodlines between Rune, Bryce, Rhysand,
Yeah.
like Lydia, like Aelin, like all of those worlds are like starting to cross. Um,
Well, and now like when Bryce is in ACOTAR,
mhm,
it's like wow, their power is so raw. But
yeah,
the reason that Bryce's power is not raw is because the Assyria are poisoning her. So
exactly,
now
right.
she has that raw power, you know what I mean?
So here's like another moment of me sitting here saying that I do think that the gods, like the Asteri, started in Throne of Glass and were the gods that Aelin banished. So I think that when she banished the gods, they got scattered, right? And I think that um some of the gods were um the bone carver. I think the bone carver, his sister, and the other one are some of the Asteri, because he's kind of like the god of truth, which is talked about like in Throne of Glass, and then in Throne of Glass they have Asterian horses, and they
Which are
have
the
Asterian
Pegasus.
steel, which is like armor and weapons, and then obviously in Crescent City we have the Asteri. So now I'm just like, okay, like wordplay, like we're backing off of all of this. Um, and then hold on. Okay, so I think that so everyone says like, okay, so like the cauldron is like mother made, like everything like that. Like obviously that's like the connecting thing. And that was like, okay, so remember when it broke and it was opening up like this rift into the world and like all of this stuff, and it was gonna like literally eat the world alive. And that was like the kill switch that the Asteri left, right? So now that all of the worlds are like interconnected, I think more rifts are going to open up, which is now how I think. And especially because the mask isn't in Perinthian anymore, I think a rift is going to open up, and I think that that is how we're going to see some connection and some play. But I'm standing on it that I think that like I think the Bone Carver proves it. Like I think he was
Well,
the god.
isn't there like a quote in Throne of Glass? I swear I just saw a TikTok about it, where it's like, whatever happened to that guy who lived in the mountain or some shit and he had a castle full of bones, of carved bones or something?
Yes, like I like
That was
literally
definitely that's definitely the bone carver. That makes sense
exactly.
to me.
And like think of how him and his sister Striga are described,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's
Yeah.
this like ongoing
That's a
theory
good point.
that
I didn't think about that.
there's this like ongoing like theory that there's this girl, her name is Caitlin, and she died in Throne of Glass, and the last thing that Aelin gives her is a cloak, and that everyone thinks that she is the surreal. And
Okay.
right. So there's like a lot of moments that like we have a lot of different like crossing world things. So I
Yeah.
truly do think I don't necessarily know if Aelin and them are going to like, be in this like series and stuff like that, but I'm wondering if like literally like jumping between these worlds is going to start being a common thing.
Yeah, it would make sense, especially now with like
Hmm.
I don't know, all of the rifts that have been opening up, just like the black holes, and like
Yeah,
it outright states that the cauldron was the kill switch for ACOTAR, and
right,
like obviously the first light core was the kill switch for
right.
um Bryce or for Crescent City, but
Yeah. Well, which then leads me to what I really think is going to be the link between this. So remember the guy on the lake with the bird lady? I can't remember her name.
yeah,
I think, and because that's the last sibling, I think that that's the last Asteri left. So what if the rifts are opening up and he can hear things through the rifts and now hears his siblings?
Uh,
Right.
dang.
So I think if that happens, that's how that is going to come about,
Yeah, I definitely
which would push for Reese and them to break the curse sooner to go after him. Or what if it's that he's trying to work with the queens and all this stuff and to bring them back here? So now Reese and them have to go to Bryce and be like, help me banish this mofo. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
like there's a couple different ways
Like
it
we
can go,
need
but
your
I
help
think
to
I think
fight.
it's going to stem from him because I think he's the last Asteri left.
That's a good theory. That's a good one.
So yeah.
Hmm,
But
interesting.
but yeah, so that's kind of our hot
Yeah.
takes and theories and starting
There was a lot of hot takes in this video.
yeah. And if you don't like it, there's this crazy thing that's called don't like the video or do. Okay, guys. So long story short, that wraps up the Crescent City series. We are gonna do a single book next week. We have a couple arc reads, stuff like that. And then we are starting another series. We're not spoiling anything, we're not dropping any hints. So tune in and see what we're talking about next week.
I did read an arc read after I finished Crescent City 3 because sometimes when I read big series like that, I need just like a little light book in
Yeah.
between. But I had an arc read from the author Carly Brenna, and it's down for the count, and it is book 4 or 5 in the Bell Buckle series. And honestly, it was great to be back in like a cowboy romance and like bull rider romance and bronc romance.
I can't
I
wait.
loved it. I think that Carly did a really good job because this book displays a lot of like grief. And
Yeah.
I think she did a really good job like describing how triggering is not the right word, but like how upside down you can feel when
Hmm.
experiencing that.
Yeah.
Um, she also did the pregnancy trope right. I mean, I am not a pregnancy trope person,
I hate the
but
pregnancy
I
trope.
didn't mind it. Like
Hmm. Okay.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was cute.
I think it's a very fine line of like it can be written right or like
Yeah,
totally
it
wrong.
can or it
So
can't be. It's 50-50. But yeah, it was great to see the main character, like the main male character's story finally, because I read these like last year, like beginning of last year.
yeah.
And he's the last brother, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was nice to be back in
And
that.
especially to end on that after like this big series. So
Yeah, it was a good, nice little in between, and I
yeah.
read it in 24 hours.
Perfect.
But yeah, so I'm excited to start our single book. I'm interested in it. I'm definitely intrigued so far. So yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Tune in next week.
All right. See you next Saturday.